Hello and welcome to Figure Skating Mess. The Grand Prix Final this season was such an entertaining event with a lot of innovative stuff, especially for the men. So we will begin with the men and then finish off with the highlight of every event, the women, where I will probably go nuts over Amber Glenn, spoiler alert. But without any further ado, let's begin with the man in 6th place, Kevin Aymoz. Kevin, what should we do with you? The way my heart shattered for him in the short program. Like, he had made it to the Grand Prix Final in his home country, in his home rink where he took his first ever skate on the ice as a 3-year-old. It was such a special moment for him. The crowd was crazy about him, and then it was just a splatterfest. And you knew that from the first fall that it was just gonna go downhill because it was a proper splatter, and he has a tendency when something like that happens, it just spirals out of control, and it did. On the bright side though, he still managed to perform the whole program, and he absolutely killed it in the step sequence. Like, he was on fire, which I was really happy about since it was in his home rink, but also gutted because this program is so good. He has been absolutely killing it in the Grand Prix season, so it's such a shame that he couldn't do himself justice in his home country. At least he redeemed himself a little bit in the free skate when he performed a beautiful quad toe and a breathtaking triple axel. Yes, he did had one fall and some wonky landings, but overall it was a much better complete picture. And I mean, that step sequence, spectacular, that glide on the ice, so many emotions. Like, Kevin, he truly wears his emotions on the sleeve, and when he nails it, it affects the audience like no other. Which is also probably why he has a tendency to completely spiral out of control when things start to go wrong, which is what happened exactly 1 year ago at last year's Grand Prix Final. I have never seen a case of such a mental block as with him last season. So the fact that he did so great at the Grand Prix stage and managed to be top 6 of the men to qualify for this event is just it's worth a big round of applause. That's actually unbelievable. And as he said himself, he wouldn't have believed it if someone told him that 10 months ago that he will be back on the Grand Prix stage. And I sincerely hope that this isn't the beginning of another period like that, and I think it was good that he could end the event on a positive note with a free skate, because Europeans is coming up and I want him to win a medal there so badly. He has never won a medal at a big championship and he's so worthy of one. Let's leave him behind and move on to the man in 5th place. Here we find a very exciting up-and-coming skater from Kazakhstan, Mikhail Shaidorov. I was so thrilled that he made it to the Grand Prix Final, but I was also distraught that it was due to Adam Himfa withdrawing because of injury. I mean, first of all, really sad because he's such an exciting, entertaining skater, and also he's French. This event was in France, and so sad that France had 2 great men in this event, and then Kevin was a disaster in the short program, and Adam, the one who had the most chance of getting a medal. He was one of the favorites for this event. He's the bronze medalist at Worlds last season and the European champion last season. So really gutted just for the French audience who had such potential and then didn't get to experience that. But if anyone should have taken this place, it was absolutely Mikhail. This man had made history multiple times this season. First of all, being the first ever Kazakh qualifying for the Grand Prix Final, and second of all, performing a new jump combination that's never been done before, the triple axel quad toe, which is revolutionary. No one has ever before, I think, done a quad toe as the second jump in a combination, so that is so cool. And he did make even more history in the free skate here, which I will come to in a couple of minutes, but let's begin with the short program. He absolutely nailed it. He was actually third in the short program, but most importantly, he had this cute interaction with this little girl who carried him this ginormous bear which had been thrown to the ice. And I mean, this bear was much bigger than her in both height and volume, and he gave her the most adorable hug, and the whole crowd, including me from home, just melted. I mean, so precious, and I think he just gained thousands of fans just from that interaction. Then in the free skate, he did have one fall, but otherwise it was really good, and he did perform a triple axel Euler quad Sako. Never been done before. So cool. Unfortunately, the judges gave it negative GOE, although it was fully rotated, and yes, like, it wasn't the most beautifully performed jump. I don't think it deserved a positive GOE, but like a neutral, I would give it like a 0. And he was underscored, to be fair, for the free skate, and the public thought so too. The audience actually booed when he got his scores, and he was placed behind Daniel Grassl. And I completely agree with him. Like, he should have been in 4th place above Daniel. And I really appreciate that the public booed. Like, that's very unusual in figure skating. Probably should happen more because the judges give very weird scores sometimes, but this was so blatantly wrong. And the comments was just flooded with people being pissed at Mikhail being underscored. And so it seems like he has gotten a really large fan base from this event, and it's gonna be exciting to see what he's gonna do in the championships that's coming up next year. Then in 4th place we have Daniel Grassl from Italy, who's making a comeback. I was quite shocked to see him actually this season. This is the man who, after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, decided to go to the coaching team in Russia that is responsible for the doping of 15-year-old Kamila Valieva that got revealed during the Olympics. I have made a whole separate video about that where I go a deep dive in this mess of a doping debacle. I will link it down below. But he thought, like, I'm gonna go to this country that is banned from international competitions, and to the coach who has a recent infamous doping scandal. I'm gonna go there because that seems like top-notch conditions. Like, what was he thinking? And to make matters even worse, during his time in Russia, he missed 3 doping appointments, so he has been suspended for about 1 year. But is now back training outside of Russia, I think somewhere else, like, I don't know, Italy probably. And to be fair, he's actually doing better than he has ever been doing. He has improved a lot in artistry. I dare say during his time off the ice, can really see that he has been training some dance, because I think he had actually been like banned for actually training in a rink. It is at least what I got from the commentators, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I was surprised of how much I liked his short program, but overall I'm iffy about this man. I'm not a fan of him anymore since the doping scandals, and I thought it was weird that the commentators was so unsuspicious of him. Like, they were basically like, oh, poor him, he hasn't been able to like be on the ice for 1 year, but he has like proved everyone wrong now, he has committed so much, and poor him for getting these negative comments. And like, well, of course he's gonna get negative comments if he consciously go to a coach with a doping scandal of a minor, and then he himself gets a suspension for missing 3 doping appointments. Like, that is gonna cause suspicions and people not being fond of him anymore. Like, what do you think? And they like did not mention that. Then in 3rd place we find Shun Sato, the 20-year-old from Japan. He just have 2 really nice solid skates, I guess. I mean, he has a great jumping technique, he has splendid skating skills. There's just something lacking like emotionally for me, it feels quite empty, even though like every movement is really beautiful. There's nothing really to critique there, except for that he needs more face, he needs more personality. I want to see him, what he's like. So even though it was a very well deserved third place, I don't have that much else to say about him. Like, there's no drama, there's no anything more, but I hope he will bring it in the future, because he has the everything else, but to be the full package, he needs to bring more personality. And speaking of personality, someone who has definitely got that and who's a very entertaining skater is Yuma Kagiyama, another Japanese man who came in silver place. We had to be in with the short program where I think he shocked us all with a fall on his quad salto. Like, that is his best jump. And he landed it, but then it just slipped away under his skates. Otherwise, the short program was brilliant. I mean, his skating skills are to die for. It's so beautiful. Like, it's so calming to just watch him skate. He's so secure. And then in the free skate, he once again had trouble with his quad salto. He popped it to a double. And I'm like, what are you doing? You always land your quad salto. You have the best quad salto. Otherwise, the skate was brilliant and clean. And the step sequence, oh my god, I love how it begins slow and then it just explodes with fire and speed, and it's such a great step sequence for him that it is so fast paced, because then he can really show how fast he is on the ice and his deep edges and his superb skating skills. It was such a thrill to watch this, and I actually won the free skate overall, but despite winning the free skate, he couldn't beat the one and only, the quad god Ilia Malinin, because Ilia's short program was out of this world. Incredible from start to finish. Love the commitment he has in the beginning, and the way he times his arm to the beat of the music. I love the little point, and then the jumps. I mean, beginning with this phenomenal quad flip, and then the triple axel, like it's just a walk in the park. Like, you barely notice the triple axel, it's so effortless. And then he ends it with a quad loose triple two. Who does that? Who has the quad loose and a triple two as the last jump? That is insanity. And then the step sequence. Oh, it's so good. So much passion, and he has his characteristic raspberry jump. It's so entertaining, so much power, so campy, but in the best way. Like, he definitely isn't an elegant, sophisticated skater, but he is such a performer. He has bloomed out to this wonderful performer. Like, when he began his career, he has always been, phenomenal in terms of jumping, but he has improved each year in terms of performance, and this year, great. Like, after Kevin Aymoz short program, this is my favorite short program of this season. It is so entertaining to watch, and it has like the whole package. And I just love everything about it, except for maybe the ending position. I don't know what that was, honestly, just a big question mark for me. But I even appreciate his outfit this time. Like, it is a bit weird, but it's sort of way that works, and it's at least better than the one he began this season with, which was, this is just atrocious, this is unforgivable. So happy that he changed that. Then the free program, oh my god, what did we watch? Like, he attempted all of the 6 quadruple jumps in one single program. Never been done before. Mind you, he's the only one who can attempt them, because he's the only one who can do the most difficult quad, the quad axel. And it was such a cool thing to attempt, actually. And I also think he did quite good with still being able to perform, like not as much as in the short program, obviously. He did also do 7 quads, like, because he did the quad loose twice. If you do 7 quads, it needs a lot of focus. You can't be doing a lot of other stuff, but he had a wonderful step sequence and choreo sequence once again. That raspberry jump and then the backflip, like the crowd just went nuts Although I'm terrified that the backflip is legal now, it should not be. I fear that this is gonna end badly. But such a great performer, and I love when the music plays teeth, he shows his teeth. I mean, like, adorable. Continue with this, Ilia, continue with this. And it was just such a thrill. I would have loved to be in the audience for this one. You just could feel the excitement through the screen. It would have been such a wonderful thing to witness. Interesting though, despite all of these amazing quads, he didn't get as high a score as he usually does. Yes, he had one fall, but otherwise. But the thing was that not a single jump was with a positive GOE. Which is so unusual for him because he usually gets like very good rotations on his jump, and he quite rarely get calls, also due to him being an American, and that always has its benefits. But here, like, even his quadruple axel was with a Q, and that's just wrong. Like, that axle was fully rotated. It was. And I don't know what the judges were on. As I say, they're usually in the Americans' favor. They have been all this season and in the short program too, but then the free skate, they were like, no, no Q on everything. And I mean, some of these was absolutely like correctly called, but the Q on that quad axle, that was uncalled for. Hello again. As you can see, there has been some lighting changes. I needed to get some lunch, and then I took a cup of tea and prepared a bit more for the second half, and then the sun had set in Sweden. So there's no natural light anymore. You have to bear with me with this indoor lighting that's much more yellow and not as flattering, but unfortunately I have no other space in my schedule to film this video, so you just have to endure this light with me. But yeah, that's what we have to work with. Blame the Swedish sun. But back to the video. Now I finally come to the highlight of the event, the women, which was Amber Glenn versus 5 Japanese girls. And I had so much fun watching this event because I watched it with a couple of friends, and it was just great sharing all the excitement and nerves together. So thank you to Saga and team for making this a really wonderful experience. Although it was so stressful beforehand, because usually you can watch figure skating on YouTube if you are from Sweden, because we don't send the Grand Prix in any of our channels, but apparently some obscure place sent the Grand Prix Final, so we couldn't watch this on YouTube, and we realized this when it was beginning. And like the panic, I just panic bought VPN for 1 month, and then just like tested all of the locations, like where can I watch this from? And finally Turkey came through, and I just screamed, yeah, let's get Turkey! So thank you, Turkey, for your service. But let's begin from the bottom. Here we find Rino Matsuike. I'm so thrilled that first of all she made it to the Grand Prix Final. I've been a fan of her for a couple of years now, and she's finally blooming out. Such brilliant skating skills. Like this smooth and the glide, she just creates speed from nowhere. Like, it's so effortless. I don't know how she does it. Nothing is forced. And I mean, the Japanese skaters are always superior when it comes to skating skills, but she is superior to the superior Japanese level. Like, she deserves 9s in terms of skating skills, and she gets high 7s or low 8s, which is ridiculous, but it's probably gonna increase the more like recognized she gets, and if she continues having clean skates. Here though, she didn't have the best outings. She began the short program wonderfully, but then she had a fall on a downgraded triple, so that really cost her a lot of points. But her free skate is just spellbinding. It's so smooth and everything is seamlessly tied together. And then the step sequence and that outside edge spiral, just wow, breathtaking. Then in 5th place we find Hana Yoshida, another Japanese girl who I'm also a big fan of, but I'm not as fan of her programs this season. I thought they were better the last couple of seasons. They just doesn't show her strengths and her personality as much as the other programs used to do. Although she did good here, she landed a triple axel, although with a Q and a bit of a 3 turns, so I think she can be proud of herself. Then in 4th place we have Wakaba. Oh my god guys, Wakaba Higuchi is back! How I have waited for this moment! Yes! Finally, since that Olympic season, Wakaba is back and she has 2 great programs. Also the packaging is wonderful for her this season, and like the short program, unfortunately she had a fall in her combination and only the first jump in the combination she lost so many points. Otherwise she killed it. Like, this step sequence is a banger. In the short program it is to tune, it is so powerful. And then her free skate was excellent. She only had 1 mistake, and that was doubling on the salto. And I especially love the second part when Kate Bush running up that hill comes, and it just elevates that program. It's like she gets more energy, she's faster, the jumps are higher, the crowd is fully behind her clapping, and the step sequence comes and it's so powerful, like chills. Her hand movements, it's great. Like, and Japanese selections for worlds and for continents is a bloodbath. Like, I want so many skaters to go, but only 3 can go to worlds. But I really hope Wakaba is one of them, please. Then in 3rd place we have Kaori Sakamoto, the 3-time consecutive world champion, who was up and down in this event. She has been up and down this season too, not her stable self. And in the short program I felt like she was a bit off. She had quite tight landings, and in the combination she had a 3-turn behind her jumps and then she fell on the last jump. So she was actually out of the medals in the short program, and it was not the Kaori that I was used to, except for the double axel. Double axel is always phenomenal for her, and it was so funny because me and my friends, when she landed that axel, all 3 of us at the exact same moment made the exact same tone too. It happened both in the short and the free, that when she landed, all 3 of us went, It was like, it's so relaxing watching her land that double axel. Anyways, she did redeem herself in the free skate, thank God. I love this free skate for her. I think it is so cool that she's constantly challenging herself. This is really new for her, and it is so complex. I mean, this is such a difficultly choreographed program with all of the arm movements, little things here and there, and then right back into focus for the jumps. And I think that is showing in a bit because she isn't as secure in the jumps as she usually is. She had a bit of tight landings here too, even if she didn't have a big mistake as in the short program, but she didn't get these bonuses that she usually gets from the jump because she has such big glorious jumps. So she didn't get as much GOE, which meant that she was actually only 3rd in the free program and then 3rd overall. But even though this is a very complicated program, I have believed that Kaori is gonna nail it in times for Worlds, because it's getting better each competition, I think. And I also I love the hair in that dress. The golden hair matched the golden things in the dress perfectly. But it's gonna be really interesting to see what's gonna happen in the championships, because Kaori is not the favorite anymore. I dare say, she's definitely one of the favorites, but she's not the favorite. I think that is shared with the gold and silver medalist from this competition. And speaking of them, let's begin with the silver medalist. That is her teammate Mone Chiba. She has been so stable and wonderful this season, and this competition was no exception. I especially am a big fan of her short program. It is so lovely and adorable, and I just find myself smiling throughout the whole program. She's so calming to watch, in my opinion. Just like Rino, I think she has this uncanny way of creating speed, and they have both such smooth skating skills, although both of them doesn't really get recognized properly for it, in my opinion. Mone gets a bit more recognition because she is a bigger name. She is the reigning Four Continents champion, as an example. But still, she definitely deserves more points in PCS, and in my opinion, I think she should have won the short program. And I'm saying this as a massive Amber Glenn fan, so that says something. But I think she generally had the best package in the short program. All her jumps were good, and she had a wonderful presentation and composition. Like, just her double axel was phenomenal. I loved the long running age, and it's so refreshing to see people daring to have long running ages again and hold a pose, because when the Etere girls were dominating from Russia, they had so many like transitions all the time. It was just clutterly, the limbs were everywhere, and it's so nice to finally see people hold the pose. And it's really difficult to do that she did. Like, it's difficult to have such a long running age, but she executes it beautifully. Another things I love with this program is the little like whip with a ponytail. Love that choreography, please do that more. Then in her free skate, she was really good that too, even though I am not as big of a fan of that program as the short one. And overall she came in second place, and she is really building up a reputation this season. She's gonna be a big threat at the championships. Now we have come to the winner, and that is Amber Glenn. I cannot believe that I am uttering these words, and we are living in a timeline where Amber Glenn is succeeding. She is unbeatable this season. She won both of her Grand Prix installments, now the final, and I was so nervous coming into this final because I wanted her to win, or at least take a medal. Like, medal was my goal so badly. But I was also so nervous because we all know like the mental challenges Amber has had, and that her nerves usually get the better of her in previous season. So my heartbeat was very loud when she skated, and all my friends were too. We were just sitting on needles, but then she begins, she lands her triple axel, great. Then 1 second later, she has a stumble, and we just screams like, what is happening? Amber! And then the rest of the program is such a challenge for our hearts, because it is not with confidence, I would say, that she's skating. It is quite tight landings on all of her other jumps, and we were just relieved that she landed them and did not fall. And apparently she injured herself a bit in the back during that stumble after the triple axel. She said to her coach afterwards, which made me even more terrified, because I was like, Amber, is she injured? How is that going to go in the free skate? But at least she won the short program. She got 70 in scores, which she was so shocked by. But like, Amber Glenn, you are that good, you just have to believe in yourself. Anyways, I did not have to worry, because she had a stunning free skate. She began with a gorgeous triple axel, which she has been so secure with this season. It's wonderful. Her only mistake was the doubling of a Salko, and here I was worried because, as mentioned previously, when she's made mistakes, she has spiraled out of control. Just like Kame and Aymoz, they are both quite emotional skaters that wears their heart on their sleeve, but Amber seems to have figured something out mentally. I also heard that she has worked with a choreographer to choreograph the program so she can have a bit of recuperation and collect herself if she do mistakes. So I think that's a very wise decision, and it seems to be working, because she didn't let that doubling of Sako affect her at all. The rest of the program was wonderful, and Like, I was so emotional at the end when I saw the technical scores taking over Mone, and I realized, oh my god, I think Amber is gonna win. Like, just secured a medal, but I think she's gonna win. And her coach like cried after the program, and I almost cried. I was like so teary-eyed. And then Amber, when she sees her scores, she just screams. She just screams. And then we have the Japanese girls in the like that's waiting and currently having the medals doing Amber Glen's ending pose, and it's the cutest. It's the cutest, and I think the whole skating community, including the other skaters, are just thrilled that Amber Glen is finally having her time to shine, because she is so open with the like mental struggles she has had, but she's also so supportive of all the other skaters. Like, we always hear about how much the skaters love Amber, and everyone has seen that she has the potential to be a top skater, to be the best in the world. She's always had a good jump, she has the triple axel, so she has that edge over other skaters. She has great charisma and performance ability, and she's very like loved by the public. She's just have such trouble performing under pressure and putting two clean back-to-back programs together, but something is finally working, and it's so cool and so well deserved. This just feels like a story or something. Like, it's so beautiful that she is having her like best scores ever as a 25-year-old. She's coming through her first Grand Prix Final as a 25-year-old. She's winning her first titles as a 25-year-old in this sport, in the female disciplines where people have tended to peak at 15, 16, especially from Russia, and it is so cool that she's making her own way and proving to people that you can have your own journey, you can come there in your own time, and that's why she is so exceptionally loved, I think, because she shares so much about her journey, so you root for her so much. And I, as you have expected, I'm a big Amber Glen fan. I even have her autograph on a pride flag. I'm gonna brag a bit. Here you can see I even have a video. I watched her in Finland, and I was the only one who got an autograph because I had a pride flag. So I am never gonna shut up about that moment, because it is one of my most prized possessions. Like, you can't buy this ever from me, and I don't know what to say. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled, and it's gonna be so crazy, these upcoming championships, like Worlds and Four Continents. I can't contain myself. Like, Amber is one of the favorites to at least take a medal. Like, she isn't the big favorite like Kaori has been the previous championships, due to her instability in previous season. Like, I fully do not trust Amber yet. I still have trust issues with her, but it's getting better. It's getting better. I could honestly talk about Amber Glen for 1 more hour, but I will spare you that. And please write in the comments down below your highlights from this Grand Prix final. Which were your favorites to watch? Did you think the medals were fairly handed out? And so on. And until you see me next time, take care of yourself, the people around you, and happy holidays! Bye!